And welcome into the McAllister Fieldhouse here in Charleston, South Carolina for this presentation of Southern Conference basketball here on ESPN. The Citadel Bulldogs and VMI Keydets on Pack the Mac afternoon here in Charleston. A rivalry matchup that pits two teams looking at the bottom right now in the Southern Conference standings. The Citadel trying to snap a three-game losing streak. VMI has lost their last 5 in a row. Two teams currently in the bottom 4 in the standings. As you see on your screen, vying for a top 6 spot, which would get them a first-round bye in the upcoming Southern Conference tournaments. So we welcome you in courtside here to the McAllister Fieldhouse. Matt Dean alongside Ryan Maddox. Happy to be here. Really intriguing matchup, Ryan. You're a guy who knows this rivalry very well on both sides. The two teams that haven't been playing well as of late, but still important in the standings, and then always a really important matchup when it's Citadel and VMI with the rivalry.
Absolutely, Matt. I mean, the atmosphere in this building is absolutely electric today. Beautiful day in Charleston, South Carolina. Coach Duger Balcom, 10 years at VMI, very, very successful. Hired away by the arch rival. Now he's down here. We've got cadets all over. It's going to be a great game today.
And the cadets have plenty of signs, plenty of cheers for the other team. Should be a great rivalry. Bubba Parham is going to be the one to watch in this VMI team, Ryan. He had a great game last time out against the Citadel. VMI only has 2 conference wins. One came against the Citadel. Parham had 24 points in that game, and he figures to be the one to watch for on the other side for the Keydets.
That's right. 14 straight games in double figures as you watch the young man. He can let it fly from deep. He's had some success here in the Holy City. VMI came down and beat Charleston Southern in Charleston earlier this year, where Parham had 21, scoring from inside and outside.
Yeah, Parham playing very well, averaging almost 17 points in conference action for the Keydets. On the other side, for the Citadel Bulldogs, they have a high-flying, lots of three-point shooting offense, and there might not be a better one in this conference than Matt Frierson, who made 5 triples on Thursday night against UNCG, now has 200 in his Citadel Bulldogs career. If you're going to do one thing well, you want to be Matt Frierson from deep.
Absolutely. He may be a one-trick pony, but he does that trick very well. They'll run him off screens. They'll shoot him in transition. He was born to shoot the basketball from deep. You're in for a treat tonight watching Matt Frierson.
The Citadel will try to avenge a January 20th loss to VMI. The Keydets on hand as they try to take down Duger Balcom's old team. Southern Conference basketball next on ESPN. And welcome back into the McAllister Fieldhouse. Another historic season with this high-flying offense for the Citadel under head coach Duger Balcom. Matt Frierson has added 2 more to his total. So he's up to 96, tying Noy Castillo in the all-time three-point field goals made in a single season. In the meantime, Zain Najdawi, mentioned a guy who has an array of moves down the post, shooting from outside, but a big contributor defensively as well. 133 blocks in his career. Top 3 of the Citadel all-time.
Even more impressive considering the fact that he's 6'6.5".
One of the more versatile players and potential favorite for SoCon All-First team as Harris is going to be denied at the rim. He is fouled and will go to the line, however. But that's Harris's game, as we mentioned. A guy who's been allowed to take more threes in his Citadel career, but this is bread and butter, slashing and getting to the rim.
I think that Citadel's offense has become so much more well-oiled, having started to go to Najdawi as the priority, inside out. You see it there. They collapse on him. He drives baseline, kicks it to Harris, who's slashing down the lane, knocking down the first of 2 free throws there. But Najdawi's proven he can face up on people. He can finish over both shoulders. He can pop out, pop on a screen and hit a 3. Just a dangerous player to deal with.
The foul went on Miles Lewis, by the way, as Harris adds to the Citadel lead, now 28-25. It's been a pretty clean game so far. Both teams have taken care of the basketball. Only 5 turnovers total between these two teams as we're well past the halfway mark. Not a lot of fouls as well. It's been a clean up and down pace type of game. As that one's tipped by Johnson. He's going to force his second steal of the game. Eyes up, the quarterback will dish it out to Harris. And his shot is tipped out of bounds here in his way to the basket.
Right on cue when we talk about how teams are taking care of the basketball. Citadel forces a turnover, taking it the other way.
Yeah, if there are going to be a few turnovers, Johnson's going to be right in the middle of that as Najdawi, taking it right to the rack, is going to be fouled. They'll charge it on number 2, Gilkison. That'll be his first. There's now 6 team fouls for VMI, 1 apiece for 6 different guys.
This is an area that Citadel has been very, very calculated and successful this year's baseline out of bounds offense. If they don't score it, a lot of times they're getting to the free throw line.
And Najdawi so far in this game now at 10 points after he made the first, and the second one is through, so make it 11 for Zain Najdawi. We looked at his block totals in his career just a moment ago. Zain Najdawi shooting 52% from the floor. He's the only one of 2 guys in the conference in top 10 in points and in blocks, as there's going to be a foul on the other end. Again, the curse of the commentator jinx is coming through here. We said there weren't a lot of fouls, weren't a lot of turnovers, and then we see one of each real quick here as Najdawi looks like he's going to be flagged for that.
That's an important bucket right there for the Keydets as they push the ball against Citadel's zone press. You see Lewis attack the basket, getting an and one. They were down 5. May not seem like a huge deal, but they do not want to find themselves down any more than 2 possessions going into the half.
That was Lewis who got the free throw stroke to go, complete the 3-point play. And it's now a 2-point game here, still with the Bulldogs on top.
The ball in the backcourt. Can we take a chance to talk about Duger Balcom's jacket? Phenomenal.
Oh, it is fantastic. I'm glad you brought that up. As here's Harris with it on the right wing. Feed inside Allende. Kick out Frierson from deep. And that one he strokes home. Matt Frierson, the 203rd made 3 of his career. Stretch pass on the other end. VMI doing their best Bulldogs impression. Will catch the Citadel sleeping right after the basket. And it's 33-30. Here's Najdawi. Stroke from the top of the key. The 3-pointer is out of range to the right.
That one would have just been unfair. Full speed. Citadel does practice that. Trail 3 for the big fella.
There's Parham from deep. It's short. And we haven't said Bubba Parham's name all that much. He had some early points for VMI, but the Citadel's done a nice job to keep him in check as Najdawi is going to have his pocket picked. Here's Miles Lewis going up and under. They'll say the foul happened before the shot. And they're going to charge it to Frankie Johnson. That'll be the first for the Citadel guard.
So you watch Lewis attack the 10 here. Johnson, little blocking foul in the lane. Citadel only with 5 team fouls, so VMI will not be on the free throw line. We talked about Bubba Parham's last shot attempt there. I thought that what that was is a young guy who's used to scoring a lot. He's stymied a little bit. Didn't have a lot of movement in the offense. Forced it.
Yeah, we're almost at the halfway point of the game. Parham only has 2 points for VMI. He has come into this game with 14 straight games, all in the Southern Conference in double figures, as there's a triple set down right there by Parham. And, he's letting us know he might just hit double figures yet in this one.
And that was a great look against the zone. Somebody closes out. They make an extra pass. He's wide open, knocks it down.
There's Frierson moving the ball a little bit down the baseline. Hey, there's a rare 2-point attempt. You said, Ryan, Frierson, he takes over 90% of his shots from 3, but he takes quality looks when he has them from inside. Here's Parham again. That one's off the line. Hauled in by Harris on the rebound.
Yeah, Matt has worked his tail off over the last 3 years, incorporating that into his game. Getting to the rim, being able to, if people chase you off the line, you've got to prove that you can do something other than just shoot.
Missed attempt by Simmons on the other end right before Miles Lewis takes it to the hoop. Lewis, the freshman out of Ashburn, Virginia, has had some nice production off the bench. He had a career-high 9, in fact, his last time out against the Citadel. Right now getting involved here for the VMI Keydets in this one. Lewis now is 7. Here's Allende. His shot off the line.
Seeing Lewis up close and personal, he's a really good-looking prospect. Attacking the rim, obviously can shoot. He's long, looks the part for a freshman.
Yerafemi wasn't ready for the pass inside. It becomes a Citadel turnover now going the other way. Parham picked Harris's pocket, and he is fouled attacking the rim, as that's going to be our first look at Derek Webster, who's going to commit the foul. 35 all here in this one, and Parham, maybe a good foul to give here. Hard foul from a guy who doesn't play all that much in Webster late in the half.
Yeah, you see the youngster attack the 10. That's the easiest way to get yourself off of a skid, get yourself to the free throw line. he'll be able to rest up a little bit during the timeout. You see his stats there, just unbelievable. True freshman, 5'11", 155. We can't say that enough. In-state product, Dan Earl and company did a fantastic job getting him out of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, he maybe not as much of a surprise as it should be on how well he has done coming right into college basketball. Bubba Parham, a product out of Snellville, Georgia, went to Brookwood High School. That's some pretty good talent down in the Georgia area. Has played against some of the top talent in the state of Georgia, including Shiloh High School, all in his same conference down there. So Parham, a wealth of experience already coming into VMI, and he certainly has been impressive, especially late here in the first half. He's going to be a key if VMI is going to keep hanging around on this one of the Citadel.
I mean, how many undersized guards have we watched today that are just incredibly impressive? You've got youngster, Bubba Parham. You've got Jordan Ratliff over there. He's definitely sub 6 foot. Matt Frierson for the Bulldogs, maybe 6'1", looking at him. Then you got Frankie Johnson, the speedster, who kind of sets the table for Citadel. He's 5'5". So they're proving that, other schools, Division I schools, Power 5 schools certainly may not have come calling while they were high school stars. But these coaching staffs have done a nice job finding these diamonds in the rough.
Is Bubba Parham your freshman of the year so far in the SoCon? Duger Bauckham has said he thinks hands down he's the freshman of the year.
I tell you what, for me, Bo Hodges is right up there for ETSU, but mine's got to be Isaiah Miller for UNCG. That kid is absolutely fantastic. 6'3", long, can put it on the deck. Yeah. And I think the numbers that he's putting up on a team that may win the conference championship
that
are a little bit more impressive than what Parham's doing. Not to take anything away from Parham. I mean, coming in, you score 15 a game on any Division I school as a freshman, you're doing something.
Yeah, heck, any other year, maybe those guys are runaway freshman of the year, but there are a lot of good freshman performances across the conference this year. As we're going to get another look at Parham here as he heads to the charity stripe. Parham and Miles Lewis thus far have led the Keydets in scoring with 7 apiece. Parham, as we've mentioned, 14 straight games since conference play began. He's been in double figures. Free throw here would make it 8. It's good.
I'll tell you what, man, I'll play my own devil's advocate here. Another way to look at that is look at VMI's total wins. I think they've got 6 or 7. If you take Bubba Parham out of the lineup, they might have 1 or 2. That's not the case for UNCG with Miller. So arguably, Parham's more important to VMI than Miller is to UNCG.
Yeah, he's their best free throw shooter. He makes both. No, you're absolutely right. The Keydets, in terms of value to this club, 7 wins on the year. They're 7-18, 2-12 in the Southern Conferences. Here's a drive by Reed. There's going to be a foul committed on the play by Ratliff. 11 on 11. Ratliff's going to get his second personal foul picked up there as Rice will go to the line. You're absolutely right. I mean, Parham has been extremely impressive. Maybe the shooting percentage numbers aren't there because Parham just has to take so many shots for this VMI team that, as we mentioned, they've been one of the least efficient offenses in the country. And so he has so much on his shoulders as a true freshman playing here for the Keydets.
Well, and you look at the lineup, again, nothing against VMI. They've got a very young lineup. They don't play a lot of possessions per game, but not a whole lot of those guys have the ability to put up big-time numbers. UNCG is different, which means that those other guys draw so much attention that Miller's going to get some good looks that Parham won't necessarily get.
37 all after the trip to the free throw line for Rice. For the Bulldogs, there's a long 3 by Smith. Not going to get the job done. And a foul committed off the ball. It will go against the Citadel as Ratliff had the foul allegedly committed on him. I was watching the ball. I didn't quite see where the contact was.
Looked like one of those bang-bang plays. Could have gone either way as Ratliff dives. They may have gotten Allende for a push. Okay.
Yeah, it looked like Allende, yeah.
We were shielded.
Seeing the replay, He kind of extended his hands a little bit, which sealed his fate. That's Allende's second personal foul. 7 apiece now for both teams with under 3 to go in the first half. Ratliff right now at the line. He's their third leading scorer. 23 games for Ratliff, and all of them have come off the bench. So he's been a nice little spark for Dan Earl's team as Coach Duger Bauckham looks on. There's a look at that jacket we were talking about. Ratliff can't get the second to roll. You're going to hear every miss from these Citadel cadets here in the building, especially in the second half. You got the girth of them all right there behind the side that VMI is going to attack in the second half. There's Rice on the floor, gets it back to Johnson. Open look from 2, a little bit long, but it's hauled in. Another offensive board for the Dogs. Rice throws it away. Here comes Bubba Parham with a head of steam. Up and under move, beautiful finish. Wow. And Bubba Parham, I think that puts him into double figures on the evening.
Now that is an impressive finish. Up and under, using the rim as a shield, just attacking the basket. As you see, Duker Balkum not happy with his defense. Full court in transition. Little modified Euro step, going to his right hand, up and under. Pretty basketball right there.
Not quite to double figures yet. He's at 9. As here's Frankie Johnson driving in the lane. Nice little find to Najdawi, who couldn't quite get his hands on it. Active hands by Keith Smith. Ratliff, other end. There's a nice up and under move. Made basket and the foul. VMI, a little push here late in the first half. Before Ratliff's going to go to the line, they already have a 3-point advantage. Man, don't forget about this guy. He's on the bench, but he is one of the best scorers on this Keydets team.
Impressive thing about Jordan Ratliff, Matt, is in high school, the knock on him was he was undersized and he was purely a shooter. Right, great shooter from the outside, but as you can see, he's built like a tank. I mean, you do not want to get in front of that freight train when it's attacking the rim in transition like we just saw.
Chance for the 3-point play. Rims out. They got Caden Rice with the foul, by the way, for the Bulldogs.
Crucial 2 minutes here.
Rice is first. Here's Najdawi from the free throw line. Inside look, wide open as he finds Alex Reed, who will find the bottom of the basket for the Bulldogs. Now make it a 1-possession game. 3-point swing with under 1:30 left to go.
Beautiful high-low basketball there from Citadel against VMI's matchup zone. 1-possession game.
Here's Parham handling it from 3, hand in his face. It's long, and a good rebound by Harris to get way up there to haul it in.
That's a bad shot. Don't like that shot. Heavily contested. Plenty of time on the shot clock.
Reed in the lane. Kind of lost where he was geographically in the lane and turns the ball over. From the corner, that was Austin Vereen. His shot going out of bounds, but it tipped off a Keydet last. I think Ratliff got his mitts on it. So the Citadel's going to control it. 42-39 with under a minute left to play.
All right, you got to think time and score here. They're 50.5 on the clock. Citadel's going to want to, as we see a timeout. So Duker Balkum right now is going to draw up 2 offensive sets. Do not be surprised if VMI switches defenses. Citadel's going to want to stretch this into 2 possessions because VMI has the possession error coming out of the second half.
Almost to the halfway mark of the game. Both teams shooting roughly the same percentage. A little bit better for VMI. They're shooting 45.7%. Bulldogs a little bit over 40 so far in this 42-39 game here from the McAllister Fieldhouse. Pack the MAC afternoon here in Charleston, South Carolina. VMI, give them credit, it hasn't been the best season for them offensively from time to time. Parham's playing well, and much like they did a few weeks ago when they last played the Citadel, but it was in Lexington. VMI's getting baskets from guys that you maybe wouldn't expect, and that was kind of the key for them. And they made 14 3-pointers last time. And talking to Coach Balkum before the game, he said a lot of guys that they didn't have down, on the scouting report that are guys as threats from deep made it. That's kind of what VMI has to do, is get some production from guys other than Bubba Parham.
And I think part of that is a testament to Coach Earl being willing to allow his team to play a faster pace when they play Citadel. They scored over 100 against the Bulldogs last season in Lexington. On pace for maybe 85 or 90 today.
Oh, Frierson on the move. Had quick shot release, didn't quite get it. Handed it back and forth with Najdawi. Feed inside, gets away from Alex Reed underneath the basket.
VMI going to hold for 1 here. Just too many live ball turnovers recently for Citadel.
Bulldogs, one of the fastest teams in the country. They average almost 79 possessions a game, which is second only to Savannah State. VMI has played a little bit quicker pace. They're going to hold for the last shot here. Here's Keith Smith. Kick out to the corner. Yeah, this is the guy you want. Parham driving to the hoop will put it home with 2.1 seconds to go. Harris can't get the final shot off. And that's going to be all. 44-39. VMI heads into the half, leading it on Pack the MAC afternoon. here from the McAllister Fieldhouse. We'll be back here for the halftime report. Matt Dean alongside Ryan Maddox. The Bulldogs trail it here to VMI.